Good afternoon, everyone, friends. Welcome to the NGO session, Taiwan HIV Story Association. HIV is not the restrict of life, and welcome all the friends here. I am Yifan Fan. I'm the chair of HIV Story, and also the deputy chief executive of Harmony Home Taiwan. And today we have two speakers, and the first one is Dr. Yang Zhenxin. He is from Kaohsiung Chang'an Memorial Hospital, Taiwan. And the second is Wang Jiaqing, and he is counselor and also a social worker. And he is also the executive director of Taiwan HIV Story. Okay, and today we will talk about some stories from Taiwan because we know that stigma and discrimination is very strong, still very strong in Taiwan. And it is not only in the society, but also in the healthcare setting and all the process and all the go through from our daily lives, and we provided supported services. So now we will welcome Dr. Yang, and his topic will tell us about now what it is like in the healthcare setting in Taiwan. And please, I'll give the time to Dr. Yang.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored tonight to be here speaking to you. And my topic is last but not least mile. We thought it was the last mile. With U equals U and 1990, we thought it was the last mile to eliminate HIV. Ever since the invention of antiretroviral therapy, ART, Taiwan had been proud of catching up with the world. In 1996, our respected scientist David Ho, an American-born Taiwanese, introduced a highly active antiretroviral therapy, HART. HART is a 3-combined regimen with 2 MRTI backbones plus 1 potent third agent. This regimen was the game changer that saved lives. And today we have these potent regimens each made into a daily single tablet, reimbursed by National Health Insurance Program for every Taiwanese living with HIV. We have Biktarvy, Triumeq, Odefsey, Destrigo, Juluca, Dovato for first-line use, and Sintusa for the second line. In addition to the advancement of medicine, we had public health policies that lowered HIV incidence. For example, in 2003, we provided harm reduction services, which included stereo needles exchange, methadone, and HIV testing. The surge of HIV outbreak caused by syringe sharing was then controlled. Later on, we lowered the threshold of ART initiation for any CD4 level. We promoted HIV anonymous self-testing and self-testing kits. We promoted same-day ART rapid initiation. And we provided partially subsidized PrEP and PEP for populations at risk. We then successfully lowered the incidence of new HIV acquisition caused by unprotected sex. As a result, Taiwan had been doing well in the care cascade goal. In 2022, we achieved 90-95-95, which was better than the global average. We heard the good news of U equals U, and with the promise of long-acting injective antiretroviral therapy and curative research, we wished to bring an end to the HIV pandemic. We thought this must be the last mile to go. We must speed up. However, it was not the least mile to go. As I became an infectious disease fellow doctor, I began to hear different stories, so different from the perfect statistics we saw. Mr. A refused to take ART. Every time he was sent to the hospital, he forced a smile at me. Before his last breath, he wished if only Evusheld, the long-acting COVID-19 monoclonal antibody, could be available for AIDS patients too. Mr. B took a single tablet ART daily, but he took more than a dozen of psychiatric prescriptions. He was labeled with more than a dozen of psychiatric diagnoses. Meanwhile, Mr. C swallowed a whole bottle of Triumeq we just prescribed. And there are still so many more friends, some on the run, some sent for conversion treatment, torn apart from a devoted relationship. And some friends were even being murdered out there. For my friends, physical health may have been secured by ART, but physical health alone does not lead to happiness. People living with HIV come from marginalized populations. They shared difficulties not only from the disease itself, but also from the stigmatization of their different cultures. Stigma took away from them their stable housing, family, jobs, and social relationship. Stigma refused them of medical facilities and healthcare services. Stigma brought inequity to medical resource distribution and to research funding. These situations were worsened by the criminalization of HIV transmission, drugs, sex work, and sexuality. These situations were also worsened by compulsory substance use treatment and mandatory HIV testing. And there are still more stigma coming from political propaganda, police media, stereotyped education, religion, authoritative government, and the general society. Look at these pictures. Freedom, safety, housing, privacy, relationship, and jobs, and other human rights were lost. Some headlines are still so fresh, so recent, happening in the post-same-sex marriage era here in Taiwan. I do not need to go into the details to show you how much blood and tears were shed in their stories. And look at these pictures. These killings and sufferings have extended to every corner of the world, the HIV response globally. The status quo of Taiwan is as that of the rest of the world is we do have the tools to curb the HIV pandemic. However, our policies are hindering us from utilizing these tools, are hindering us from healthier and safer behavior models, and are violating human rights. We are reinforcing a vicious cycle, this cycle. And is there a way to break this vicious cycle? Yes. On July 29, 2022, WHO published a new resource for designing public health responses that address HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections among key populations, including drug users, MSM, transsexual, sex workers, and prisoners. The guideline pointed out critical enablers that breached any further possibility. The critical enablers said, number one, remove punitive laws, practices, and policies. Number two, reduce stigma and discrimination. Number three, empower the community. Number four, address violence. And these fundamental principles apply to every different population. We cannot eliminate any problem using machine guns. The problems have been always there, deeply rooted, breeding whatever we seed. So the last mile is never the least mile to go. So it is, in fact, the first mile to go. In search of solutions, I have been attending seminars, reading books, collecting people's experiences. I found that without a sterilizing vaccine and an easy cure, the goal of elimination is not feasible. It becomes a slogan that fosters cruelty. The emphasis on life quality and human rights, the fourth 90, on the contrary, do invite people to health retention programs. I found wisdom in a book that says, the opposite of love is isolation. The opposite of hate is connection. I found this was true. We will move on. Let me tell you what else I found. I found there are still good connections in the real world, connecting everyone's stories. These connections brought me into other people's lives. These connections brought me into the difficulties they encountered. These connections brought me into their deepest needs as well as their deepest dreams. And these artful connections made us more like each other than we are different. Tell you what, I found a lovely NGO building these connections secretly. It is called Taiwan HIV Story. And now, as the first mile to go, we shall hear from their lovely stories. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Yang. And now we welcome Raymond, Wang Jiaqing Raymond. Okay, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Raymond from Taiwan. I am the Executive Director of Taiwan HIV Story Association. And today I want to share some experiences and what we do to reframe and destigmatize and discrimination in people living with HIV and AIDS in Taiwan. Okay. But first of all, I want to thank you for all the participants and our colleagues and our sponsors, and especially I want to thank all of our story contributors and reporters. Without them, we cannot do these things. So I will talk about who we are and why we do this and what we do for. And also introduce our campaign. So many years ago, some of our board members they want to share their experiences about their life and their treatment, and also to share some of the stories of the people they know. And so they started to publish some stories in the website. And they found a lot of people were interested in those stories. And so they found, because since Taiwan was achieving the target of UNAIDS of 1990, so we think it is a very good chance to discuss the the quality of life. And so we decided to continue this movement to post some experiences and stories on the website. And the most different things from between other NGOs and us in Taiwan was we are not provide direct services for people living with HIV and AIDS, and we using the social network and website to promote some information and to share the experiences to the people and to the public to let them know more about the life experiences of HIV positive. And we noticed that it was a very excellent chance to educate people about the HIV positive people's living and their how their feelings and what they feel in the society. But also because we noticed without funding, what we do was limited. So we decided to register as an official NGO in Taiwan. So why do we do the storytelling? People love stories. I think you should know that. Think of the Grimm's fairy tale and Disney stories, and we all attracted by good stories. So we think this is a powerful way, a powerful weapon to describe and show how we think and feel. So people may not interested on special topics or issues, but they definitely attracted on good stories. So I think we think it is a powerful way, a powerful weapon, and the most quickly way, and the effective methods to capture people's attention. So we using the social network such as Facebook or Instagram. And also we establish a website to share the stories. And for the public, we think it is a very good opportunity to let them know about the HIV positives HIV positives are difficult, or their experiences such as their relationship with families, their couples, or their experiences on their work, and etc. And also for the people living with HIV and AIDS, we think it's a very good opportunity to providing information as much as possible. And when they are listen and telling these stories, they can reflection to get closer to themselves and reframe the stigma. So we use, like I say, we use the social media and website to publish stories, videos, and issues about people living with HIV and their relatives. And we also held the workshops and a peer group. But most importantly, we're starting to training volunteers, including the HIV positive people and the people were interested in those topics and HIV positives. And there are as a reporter and to write the stories and to listen to these stories. And we found out that our volunteers can empower themselves while they are saying and listening to these experiences. And we also connect with other NGOs to advocate some human rights. And also we do the international cooperation, such as last year we worked with the IAS to doing the Me and My Healthcare Providers in Taiwan. Okay, so as you can see, this is what we do. This is our multiple media and or pages. We use different ways to promote and send information about HIV and AIDS. And I think it is instrumental, especially in recent years, as you know, the COVID-19 pandemics. So people cannot went to the hospital, so we provided some information to let them know, like how they can get a vaccine or medication or some precautions during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially for the people living with HIV and AIDS. Okay, so this is the, besides online activities, we also held in-person offline activities. And it includes, including a lot of topics such as HIV with law and the long-term care, or the mental health or recreational drugs, PrEPs, and over 60 sessions. And we also do some campaign like U equals U and HIV decriminalization and other campaigns. So after the storytelling, we started thinking, can we do anything else to make the HIV positive and the public get closer and more intense? So we think of arts, because it is the most directive and a powerful way for the public to have an actual feeling using their own sensations. So we conducted an exhibition with several artists and local NGOs, and also the Museum of Contemporary Arts in Taipei. And this exhibition in the 2019 named Interminable Prescriptions for the Plague. In this exhibition, we collaborated some local NGO and artists, and also we invited some researchers from local and international to perform their ideas about HIV and AIDS. And we also have a soapbox. I will show the pictures later. We invited some HIV positive people to share their stories to the public. And the end of the exhibition, we used the expressive art performances to transfer the feelings of people living with HIV and AIDS. And last year, we started another activities. It is a theater project I will introduce to you later. So this is our exhibitions, the pictures. You can see on the top left, and there's a special white clothes. It's made of the HIV drug bottles. And we want to talk to people. It symbolizes the HIV positive can never live without these drugs, but we're still alive. And the other one on the bottom of the left, it was our soapbox speeches. So many people around there to listen to these stories. And the last year, we held another unique project. We used the stories we collect these years to form to a script and into theater performances. And we invited some HIV carriers and the public to share their experiences when it comes to HIV and AIDS. So this project, we hope the conversation and interactions during these performances enable society to form a warmer and deeper understanding of people living with HIV and AIDS. So not just from our source and our stories, we also invited the public and other professionals or HIV positive people to join our discussion and rehearsal, and using all these things into the performance, all these materials into the last end performances. So we have a lot of audience and join our performances, and we got some better good comment from these audiences and also the theater critic. And this year we started a new project, then past movement. We will still writing and storytelling, and also we are focusing more on the inner strengths of the people living with HIV and AIDS and the public, and making more connections. So we hold three groups, ballroom groups and weaving groups for focusing on the HIV positive females. And the painting project, we are inviting some HIV positive artists and to do more create. And at the end of this year, we will have a presentation and exhibition to show this result to the public. And also, we're still doing some advocacy to using the stand-up comedy to promote the ideas of U equals U. And also, we cooperate with other NGOs to doing the show, labor's right and the sexual health for the sex workers. So this is the ongoing project, ongoing groups we now. And this is the stickers of the last year's project. On the top of left, you can see it shows I am HIV positive, but I'm okay with it in Taiwanese. And we want to share. To share these experiences, and I think it is just the beginning. And with this journey, so I know we can speak this sentence out loud and proud of it someday. And why do we continue to do this? You can see this this comment is from our Facebook page just a few days ago when I arrived in Singapore. I see this comment, and I know there's still a lot of unfriendly and comment in this world. But I also say this, I want to share, I know my time is almost out, but I want to share these stories. This is from our story contributors, and he's HIV positive and recreational drug users. And he's been hiding himself from almost older people, even his case manager, since his diagnosis. And he's watching our website for a while. The reason he sent us his story is because his case manager encouraged him to do this. And a few weeks ago, we published his stories on our website and got an unfriendly comment on the Facebook. But I found that a lot of people fighting for him on the website and on the Facebook. And he sent us these messages after the comment. So I think this is why we are wanting to do this in the future. So if you are interested in our work, welcome to contact me or my colleagues and supporting us in any way, or just watching our website and social media platform. And if you have any comment or questions, don't hesitate to contact with me. Thank you.
Thanks, Raymond. And I have some questions for Dr. Yang and Raymond. Since Dr. Yang have mentioned that there's still some discrimination, stigma in Taiwan society, and Raymond have mentioned that there's still some digital violence which blame the people who living with HIV, AIDS. So what will you suggest to do with the digital violence in Taiwan, or physical violence in Taiwan? So maybe Dr. Yang first?
I think the digital violence is a very difficult to treat problem in Taiwan, because the stigma has been very, very well rooted in everyone's upbringing, and it is only through education and through connections can we change these opinions. And as I participated in the HIV Stories NGO's activities, I found they were doing very hard. They were doing very much for building these connections, and I see they really need support, not only financially, but also for everybody's help in maintaining a friendly environment, so that every person living with HIV can express their situation, their feelings genuinely. And so I think, in fact, everyone sitting here can play a very positive role in helping turning the atmosphere that fosters digital violence. I take myself for example. Whenever I see some posts that's really mean, I would reply something to the author. Of course, it's not a good way to debate with them, but we can still find some ways to communicate politely, and maybe we can share more stories from our experiences, such as if we are doctors, or we are nurses, or we are other caregivers or friends, or if we are the people living with HIV, then we have our experiences to share. And the more we let people understand these communities, the more people will give up their stigmatized opinions, and they will eventually find that everyone is is similar, more similar than different. Everyone is, in fact, a family.
And Raymond?
Okay. I think this is a very vital problem in Taiwan because as Dr. Yang said, we're still facing a lot of critics and unfriendly comment in Taiwan. But we actually have a special law for the digital violence this year in Taiwan. So I think that is a very important information and to share to the people. But as a mental health professional, I always told my patients or my clients to, if you see that very uncomfortable comments, you should stop to seeing that. Yeah, because we can control other people's doing, but we can do things for ourselves. But also, I think another very important thing is to find support support group or support resource, such as there's a lot of NGOs in Taiwan. They can provide some not only the mental health support, but also some like legal support or advices for them. But another thing I think it is also very important is we still need a friendly environment. So that is why we want to continue to do this, to create a friendly environment in the society, so that the older people, even though they see this unfriendly comment or digital violence on the internet, you can see like the example I just mentioned, other people can fighting for them and making the I think it's a power and it can support these people. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Raymond. And I would like to share two plots because in Taiwan, how many years ago? 5 years ago, in Taiwan we held a referendum about same-sex marriage. At that period of time, because the referendum was held with the presidential election, so the political force used the referendum and also the same-sex marriage, and also combined with LGBT issues and also HIV services, and also PrEP at that time. And they used these terms or used these issues to attack some people and make some people very uncomfortable at that time. So I think it is a very big issue in Taiwan. And so next question is, Raymond, what would you add to the promotion of HIV stories, or what kind of events or campaigns will you add to HIV stories campaign or activities?
You mean this year?
Whatever.
Okay.
In the future, what you hope, regardless the resources. Yeah.
Yes, money is very instrumental because as an NGO, we and especially for a new NGO, we are just started like 4 years. We are still short of the money and to do a lot of things, and we just have 2 full-time workers this year. Yeah, so a lot of things we, as a board member, we have to help them to do a lot of things. So this is why we are continue to creating a new campaign. So, but we still want to doing more like not for just for the special population, like HIV positive for the public, but what we try is to making more connections for them, because I think more people notice and understand what is what's their feelings and what's their experiences, and more people can be friendly to them or to this society. So yeah, but what I do is trying to making some connection and finding more money. Thank you.
I do have some suggestions. I feel that the activities from HIV stories were really good, and but the drawback is their activities are primarily limited to the northern area of Taiwan, and actually the most the conservative areas of Taiwan is more southern, right? So, so I think if in the future we can promote nationwide activities or in digital forms, then we can unite every corner of Taiwan, and we will be the most friendly area of the world.
Yeah, I think this is the power. It's the power of the internet, because it's very widespread and very convenient to using the digital cell phone or the internet in Taiwan. So this is the strength for us we can use this as materials and resources to reach out to more people.
Thanks, Raymond. I have how many days? About maybe at February or March. I tell Raymond that maybe we can make London and join the London Festival during the London Day, maybe next Lunar New Year. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, maybe, I hope. We have to discuss with a lot of government. Yeah, if they allowed us to do this, we will try to. But yeah, I will try.
Because next year is the dragon year, and we think we can make an U=U lantern with 2 dragons with the U shape, and then put it maybe at the city hall or some big MRT station, and then show the workers pass by and tell them what is U=U. Yeah, and since we don't have any question online, is the friends here have some question or want to share your experiences? Oh, maybe the lady first? Yeah.
First of all, I'm a big fan of your group. Your campaign are fantastic, and I especially love the storytelling and the weaving project. It's really touching. And I used to participate in your in-face activity back in 2018. And I think it's really powerful to have someone to come out as an HIV positive person in public. Come out to our close friends or families is a different things apart from coming out in public. But have some public figure to be a positive patient is really like positive thing for my patient. I even tell them to look at your website to see the stories. So I think it's very like strong, and you should continue to this. But my question is that for you, because to come out in public would be a very exhausted experience. Sometimes you want to hide, but once you come out in public, then you cannot hide anymore. So I should say I appreciate what you do, but I really like to understand what kind of the event or what kind of the ideal changing can make someone to do this.
Thank you. And Raymond, would you like to respond first? Then we will invite the second question.
Okay, I can answer this first. Yeah, I know there's a very struggle to come out as not only the HIV positive, even though like there are LGBTQ person and other identities. But that's why we always do the anonymous stories sharing to the public, because we know it is very struggle, and if they can show off their identities, they may facing a lot of problems in their lives. So, before that, we will make sure everything he want to say and everything we will publish was comfortable for them, and my colleagues and our workers will reviewing all the materials they send to us. And also, this is why we train our volunteers to do this, because sometimes the story contributors they don't know about what he or she want to say, or what they can say. So we are using this interview process to make sure all the things he can make a clear speeches or a clear sharing, and all the things he can comfortable with it. So, but I know it is a very important issues for us to doing this.
Thanks, Raymond. And Dr. Yang want to speak a little?
I have some opinions about coming out, because coming out in every society has its different significance. Because when a person comes out from no matter what identity, he or she doesn't just make this decision for himself or herself. Yeah, he or she has to consider their families and their jobs and the environment around them. So the real situation is that in some areas of the world, people would like to come out, and while in some areas people won't. So I think if we like to see people come out, we do need to change the environment, not only from our views, but also the policies and the laws that make them a major obstacle. And besides, is coming out really the only solution to any problem? I don't think necessarily. Maybe there are still other ways we can work on, and it's definitely worth our best work.
Thanks, Dr. Yang. And maybe we go to the second question, please.
Hi, my name is Norman. I'm from the University of Malaya, from Malaysia. I just want to echo the heart behind the organization itself. I think it's extremely important to tell stories. I think stories are really important, and from our side, we've done some qualitative research as well, looking at photo voice and how that can be used to as a stigma reduction tool. So my question revolves around language. So language, as we know, it plays a very important role, especially in the field of HIV. When we have a lot of language resources or person-first or person-centered language in English. And I wonder if you have any kind of resources that are contextualized in the local language, and if you have any, I would say, experience with the challenges of translating some of the things that we talk about in English into the local language.
Okay, maybe Raymond?
Yeah, I have to admit this is limited for us now. Yeah, as I said, because we just have 2 workers, and but actually sometimes we receive some some stories like from the prisoners. They are HIV positive, and the materials will including some local languages such as Taiwanese. But we always try to make clear information to the audience, but or for example, to using some notes and to let the people know what is that means. But actually, we are right now. We are mostly in share these stories and experiences in Chinese, and maybe in the future we can have more languages to share these experiences. But for now, it's a limited. I admit it.
Thanks, Raymond. One more last question, please. Yeah.
Hello. Thank you for your effort in improving our society and shorten the gap between disease and society. And I have because in my clinic, every HIV positive patient have his or her own stories, and these stories might be very difficult, past difficult. And of course, we have a public stigma before, because we did not understand the disease before. Just like when we at the first time when we faced the COVID-19. But maybe after decades, or maybe after a couple of years, and the next stage maybe we should discuss is about self-stigma. So how do you deal with, what is your opinion in self-stigma in our society, and how do you deal with self-stigma? Because maybe public stigma, we can improve this or deal with the public stigma by educate our citizens of societies, but self-stigma might be another important issue, because when the positive patient cannot accept themselves, it's very difficult to improve maybe our societies or our policies to these patients. So what is your opinion? Thank you.
Thanks. And maybe we should quick response. Maybe Raymond and Dr. Yang. Yeah. Dr. Yang first.
Okay. Well, in my opinions, I don't really think there is so-called internalized stigma. I think all the stigma come from the external world. People keep saying, "I'm sorry, I feel guilty," because the world wants to see us do this. If we don't do this, then they keep criticizing.
Yeah, I agree with that. The self-stigma is a very important thing to the HIV positives. So I think this is why we are more our campaign this year is more focusing on the self-esteem and the inner strength. Unlike the last year and the recent years, we all mostly to facing the publics, we want to focusing on the HIV positive and their inner strength this year. So the group I just showed you was invited, limited to the specific populations, and I think if they can raise the self-esteem and to finding more the inner selves in these groups, they can do more things, and they can maybe they can reduce the self-stigma for themselves. And actually, we want to see the results of these years, and maybe if there's a possible way we can do this more in the future. But I agree with that. Yeah.
Thanks, Raymond and Dr. Yang. And I believe that storytelling or writing or recording video message is a process of healing himself. So maybe they can tell us about their hatred, their love, what they are afraid. That may help him to face himself. And we are come to the very end of this session, so I want to remind that tomorrow's conference begins at 8 a.m. here. And also, the organizer will send an online survey at the end of this day, so please remember to complete the survey, and then you can get the attendance certificate. And tomorrow's session is community-based research to improve HIV, right? And HIV care tools, frameworks, and languages. So, well, expect to see you, the friends, in here again tomorrow. See you. We are closing here, right? And bye. Bye-bye. Oh. A little gift in front of our desk. So maybe if you like to have some gift back home, then you can come to the very front. Then we will give you the lovely gift.